As LSK Elections, and joining us in studio is Steve Ogola, an advocate of the High Court. As he sat down, I immediately asked him, I hope you voted first before you come here, and he proudly showed me the mark on his finger indicating that he has. So early morning for you, I can imagine.
Yes, it was an early morning and I have voted, but this is not visible.
It's not visible, but and we did not call you here to prove whether you voted.
To zoom in.
Okay, I believe those...
Okay, fine.
Okay, they're trying to get that shot.
At least let my right be upheld. So, okay, fine.
That you follow. Okay, you follow the your right, and
yes,
you
I
voted.
voted at the Supreme Court building because I had a matter there at the Court of Appeal.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for finding time to be here with us to help Kenyans understand that LSK positions are voluntary.
Yes.
If I get it right, there isn't actually a pay, is there?
Yes.
So why the hype over it? Why are we seeing billboards? Why are we seeing posters? Why are we seeing flyers? Why spend so much money on what is a voluntary position?
Actually, even before I answer that, let me just sensitize the viewers on the nature of this election. Lawyers are voting for 16 days. We are electing 16 persons. 16 persons? Electing the president. We are electing the vice president. We are electing 2 lawyers to form the general membership. From the general membership, they are called general members. Then we're electing 3 lawyers from Nairobi, because Nairobi has 70% of practicing advocates. So 3 lawyers in the council are being elected to represent Nairobi. Then you're electing 4 lawyers to represent upcountry lawyers. So yeah, you're in order to call me city lawyer because the law says upcountry lawyers. And then we're electing 1 lawyer to represent the senior lawyers who have practiced for over 25 years. Okay. So that comes to 12. And we actually have a list of some of them that we should be putting up for you shortly. We are electing 4 to be in the Advocates Disciplinary Committee. This is the committee that processes complaints against lawyers. So if anybody has a complaint against an advocate, you can come to the LSK. That committee will deal with it. So that is the nature of the election. The role of why this election is of significance, national significance, is because of the role that the council plays and the Law Society plays by extension under Section 4 of the LSK Act. The Law Society is supposed to assist government, through the council, assist government in implementing the Constitution and interpreting the law. So ideally, because the Constitution requires a consultative approach, before you go to court on a matter that could be settled out of court, LSK could be a critical conduit between the tensions and controversies around interpretation of the law and what the law really says before someone goes to court. Because if LSK takes a position, they're supposed to take a position that is accurate, near accurate, so that if someone were to challenge that position in court, then it's more or less given that position, LSK's position, will stand. A case in point, are the authority. Yes, a case in point is the election itself was challenged by one lawyer called Nelson Harvey. The law says for president, for other members, all you need to do is to have at least 2 years of post-admission experience as a lawyer to run for office. But to be elected as president of the Law Society of Kenya, you need at least 15 years experience from the date when you became an advocate. Well, unless you've served in the council before. So Nelson Harvey had not attained 15 years, but he said he nonetheless qualified. So then the Law Society told him that you're not qualified. So you see, because of that controversy, he presented a case in court, which I argued for the Law Society of Kenya. The court agreed that LSK was right in disbarring him. And he went to the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal also agreed with the LSK. This tells you that LSK is supposed to get it right almost every instance. And so that critical role of assisting the government in interpreting the law, implementing the Constitution, and ensuring that there's compliance with the rule of law, which is actually why the yellow ribbon we have it here. So this yellow ribbon is not a tool for political activation. It's not a symbol of political activation, NASA politics and Jubilee politics. It is just reclaiming the society for what it is, that lawyers believe in the rule of law, and lawyers, politicians, ordinary mwananchi are supposed to be bound by the Constitution. So basically, that is an overview of what the elections are about and what it means for ordinary Kenyans. Okay, and I want to let our viewers know that some of the pictures we are showing you now are from previous elections. Yes. Just that no one sees someone there and wonders how did they vote, and we're here with them. That's from last year. But shortly we'll be showing you, pictures from different counties, even as the election goes on in 28
locations. We also have our correspondent at the Milimani Courts, I believe, Zuya Walter. I believe that's one of the locations where you could have voted. Yes, that's correct. It's confirmed. Let's go over to Zuya Walter and get an update from her. Zuya, what do you have for us today?
Now, the LSK elections is still going on. It's a process that started at 8:30 this morning. And remember that we have 28 polling stations. Here in Nairobi, we have over 6,000 lawyers who are expected to vote in for the next president, who will take the leadership of all the lawyers in the country for a period of 2 years. Now, we understand there is this polling station here at the Milimani Law Court. And behind me, we can see lawyers exercising their democratic right in voting for the next leaders who are going to lead them for the next 2 years. We expected that some of the young lawyers will not vote. This is because previously they had a hashtag that was going around that was age limit must fall. But we've seen some of them voting here this morning. And with me here, I have one of the contestants, that is Allen Gishuhi, who is vying for the position of chairman. Maybe he can give us more, some of his comments about this process. Now, Wakili, good morning.
Good morning, and first of all, correction, I'm running for president and not chairman.
Thank you. Now, they have the post is known as president, right?
Yes.
Okay, maybe you tell us about this process. How is it so far?
So far, it's gone on very well. I'm quite excited by the large turnout. As you've just mentioned, there was a hashtag saying can't buy, can't vote. That has been widely exaggerated. And everyone is turning out in large numbers to vote. And a few minutes from now, I just go down to the Supreme Court to check on the voting process, but I'm delighted by the turnout.
Maybe you tell us about your stronghold, that now that we understand that you have over 6,000 lawyers here in Nairobi.
Yes, 6,700 lawyers in Nairobi, and I'm very excited about victory because Nairobi basically is my stronghold, and I'm looking forward to the results tonight when I shall emerge victorious.
How many lawyers are registered countrywide?
Countrywide, there are 9,909, and about 75% of the lawyers are based in Nairobi.
Have you voted yourself?
I'll vote at the Supreme Court.
Maybe a word to those who are still in the office. Maybe you have something to tell them, because we understand some of the lawyers are still having matters in the court, others are still in their offices. What time is this exercise going to end? Yes,
the exercise started at 8:30 and ends at 5 p.m. And it's critical, if you want to reclaim the society with sound leadership, that you come out and vote. Don't stay in the offices and expect that this is going to be a walkover. It will not be. And the biggest mistake we make is when we don't elect leaders by staying behind. So I urge all colleagues out there, get out, exercise your democratic right to vote.
Now, that is one of the contestants who is vying for the seat of president. We have another lawyer who is also a young lawyer. Maybe you tell us your view about this process.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
Yes. The process has started very well. The turnout has been larger than was predicted. The people are coming out to show their vote, and the movement really is our society, our solutions, and we expect to be victorious at the end of the day.
Thank you. Now, this process is expected to end at around 5 p.m. Actually, at 5 p.m. and the results are supposed to be announced maybe by tonight. So tonight we'll have a new president who is going to take over the LSK, who is supposed to lead all the lawyers countrywide. Wahiga?
Thank you much, Zuya Walter, for that update. And we'll continue. Of course, this is the topic we're focusing on right now. We know voting is going on in locations even like Nyeri. And our correspondent there will give us updates in regards to that. Briefly, the process of voting, we see a situation where you have Nairobi representatives and up-country representatives. And all the lawyers are voting for all the posts. How does it benefit me to vote for a representative in another part of the country, and technically they may not represent me directly?
I think that's
what's the thinking behind that?
I think that's where the country should be going. There's something to learn from these LSK elections, because what the law allows us to do is that, for instance, I practice in Nairobi, but I've voted for up-country lawyers. You know, the law allows us to vote for anyone, wherever they may be found, in any station. Because again, I may be practicing in Nairobi, but then at that time, let's say I'm in Mombasa or I'm in Kakamega, so then I'll cast my vote there. So first of all, there is the mobility, the transferability of ability to vote.
So you can vote anywhere?
You can vote in any station, anywhere for anyone. Out of these 16 lawyers to be elected, the president, you can vote for the president in any station. You can vote for the vice president in any station. You can vote for what we call the general members. general members have to campaign across the whole country where the president and the vice president is. But Nairobi members representing Nairobi advocates only need to campaign in Nairobi, but they could also campaign across the board because their votes come from the entire society. Then you have upcountry lawyers. I think probably how lawyers select, since if you practice in Nairobi, you probably have more visibility in Nairobi. That would probably move you to run for office in Nairobi. But when it comes to election, you still have to reach out to all members wherever they may be found. That approach is to ensure inclusivity. And actually, in terms of the design of this council, if you compare with what the Constitution provides, if you look at the technical design of the Law Society of Kenya Act, it has what we may consider as the ideology behind it as that of proportionate representation, while also requiring experience at the helm. Proportionate representation because out of this about 14,000 advocates, 60% are young lawyers, five years and below in experience. Because you see now, because of the expansion of the legal training program, we have now parallel students taking law. So you've had a high number of law students graduating and then becoming advocates. So if you leave these young lawyers to vote, they might outdo each other. So the seniors may not have a slot in the council. So the senior lawyers, 25 years and above, who may
also
not be interested,
their own slot, yes,
who may not be interested in campaigning, in vigorous campaigns, they have a slot reserved for them. So you have two candidates for that slot. You have to choose between either of the two as reserved for them. Then you have
I think it's Roslyn Ondede and Francis Masika.
Yes. So you see, they didn't have to really campaign because as a matter of design, one of them will be elected.
Okay. I want to interrupt you there because there are two crucial points I don't want to miss out on.
Yes.
The link between LSK and the JSC.
Yes.
And there has been a lot of complaints by NASA that the Jubilee Party wants to infiltrate the JSC and change change or amend or bring changes in the judiciary.
Yes.
Let's talk about how many nominees the LSK gets in the JSC and what power whoever becomes the chairperson will have in regards to how changes can be made.
No, I think the issue of the JSC has been misconstrued, if not totally misunderstood, because you see the president is entitled to send persons. There are, I think, 3 nominees. The LSK, I think, is entitled to send about two nominees. And then there are other representation in the JSC. What the JSC is supposed to do is to interview judges, applicants for those who want to be appointed as judges, and appoint them on merit. You know, I think because of the tension around the presidential election petitions, there may be a need that Jubilee, and no, that is not unconstitutional, because see, when the president is selecting or nominating people to the JSC, he is sending people that he's comfortable with. When the Law Society is sending representation to the JSC, the Law Society, the membership, is electing someone they are comfortable with that will represent their interest. So we have sectarian interest within the JSC, and that's not bad. That is the design. I think maybe there could be lesson for learning if you look at the composition of JSC and IEBC. Because you look at there's in terms of ideology, they come from different philosophies. The philosophy within the JSC is that of inoculation of politics. The philosophy or ideology within the IBC is that of insulation from politics. So you have IBC commissioners appointed entirely through a process that is meritorious, and they are supposed to be impartial. At the JSC, you have people responsible for appointment of judges, people who have known positions. Because if you have been sent there by the president, of course you will probably look at the interests of the government.
Represent the interests of the government, yes.
And that is the design of the law. So it's not something to raise anxiety, just something for sensitization, let the members of the public understand and maybe interrogate whether, you see, unlike the IBC that has a selection panel that then appoints commissioners who are supposed to be independent people. JSC does not have a selection panel. They themselves constitute among them. When they sit there, they just receive applications from people who want to be judges. If you have 10 years and above in practice experience, you can apply. You'll be vetted, you'll be interviewed, and if you're successful, nominated. I think at the level of the Chief Justice, when people are taking a vote, probably the people sent by the president there will probably prefer a candidate that the government is happy with. That is not unlawful, it's not unconstitutional. Okay. So I don't see the tension or controversy around this composition. You don't see any worries about that. We are bringing you live images now from Kisumu County, where voting in the LSK election is going on. And you mentioned that there are how many seats up for grabs? 16 seats up for grabs. Of course, the presidential candidate race is quite heated, vice presidential race.
And we had the LSK General Member Representative, where you have a choice between two. LSK General Member Representative, which is now open to the younger demographic, and a few other seats, Nairobi representatives and upcountry representatives as well. Those are some of the posts or seats that lawyers who are, who are eligible to vote or who have, achieved the necessary requirements are, going or trooping to the 28 different locations to vote in. We will come back later on to Kisumu to do to do an interview with the presiding officer there, just to understand the process a bit better and how it has been since morning. But let's now take you to Embu County to have a chat with Francis Gashuri. As we mentioned earlier, Embu County residents will today know the fate of their governor Martin Wambora as the High Court pronounces itself over the petition challenging his victory filed by former Senator Lenny Kivuti. Let's bring in Francis Gashuri for an update on the same. Gashuri, good morning. We are seeing indications that security has been beefed up at that location. Is that a sign? Or what is that a sign of, if anything?
Obviously, the competition has been very intense, right from the ballot and up to the petition that was filed by former Senator Lenny Kivuti challenging the election of Governor Martin Nyaga Wambora. And so Justice William Musyoka of the Embu High Court will be making that ruling this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. to be precise, on whether Governor Wambora remains in office or the Embu County electorate will be forced to go back to the ballot to determine who will be their governor. And of course, it's also important to look at how the verdict will be coming out, bearing in mind that Martin Nyaga Wambora has been under siege for quite a while, for his first term and even his second term. And many people have described him as a man with 9 lives. Will that situation still suffice today, or will he be kicked out? So basically that's what we will be on the lookout for. Remember, Justice William Musyoka had last month ordered a recount and retallying of votes in up to 710 polling stations in Embu County, and specifically in 2 constituencies, Manyata and Runyenjes, because you remember the margin between Wambora and Lenny Kivuti was very slim, and so the judge needed to ascertain how the poll was done, because one of the grounds raised by Lenny Kivuti is that there was quite some manipulation in the tallying of the votes that were counted and announced in the August poll gubernatorial race here in Embu County. So basically that's what we'll be on the lookout for. And security has been beefed up around Embu County law court precincts, bearing in mind that there has been intense competition, and the officers ensuring that no ugly altercations will be occurring between supporters of the 2 rival candidates. And they are not yet here, but indications are that by about 1 o'clock or 1:30 they will be here to take over, to get their positions in the courtroom and wait for that crucial verdict from Justice William Musyoka of the Embu High Court, Wahiga.
Thank you so much, Francis Gashuri, for that update. I guess it's a waiting game now for you. Another maybe 4 hours or so, and then the big moment, and all eyes in Embu County will be focused towards that court, waiting for the verdict from the judge there. We want to take you back to Kisumu, continue to show you some of the pictures there, even as the voting continues. We also have an interview with the presiding officer there that we'll be bringing for you or to you in just a bit. Let me come back to Advocate Ogola here, even as we carry on with this discussion. Wakili, we want to talk about the big, not even the big, it's just the elephant in the room, because you can take it that an elephant will always be big, at least compared to us. The perception that LSK has lately become captive to national, ethnic politics. We've seen a council that issues statements from different sides. One side of the council will say this, maybe the president, then the vice president comes later with a different statement. We have also been made aware that both Jubilee and the opposition are keenly following these elections. We've heard of allegations of bribery and NASA and Jubilee politics in the midst of all this. Again, let me get your thoughts on the same.
I think that's understandable, that's normal. It shouldn't raise anxiety, although lawyers must...
It has raised anxiety.
It shouldn't raise anxiety because, you see, the Law Society of Kenya operates, its mandate is within this republic. It influences policies, laws, and the nature of governance in the republic. So it's possible that people, the political elite, may want to capture the Law Society because a compliant Law Society makes governing easier. You get? But you see, unlike other institutions, this society has a specific mandate. It's a statutory body. It has a specific mandate, and it's a body that is a professional body of lawyers. And they're supposed to, what is supposed to guide our work is that there is the rule of law. So the Law Society of Kenya, in its design, should be the least or the last institution to be captured by the state. Because if you capture Law Society, then eventually you have killed an independent voice. You get? I think what we've seen in the past is in the so-called divided council, where sometimes the president has made statements on behalf of the society
that have been
and has been countermanded or countered by a section of the council. I think that is distasteful and disrespectful and must be condemned. We can only hope that this new council will disinherit the bad manners of the past
and inherit the good ones,
and inherit what is in the law. The law requires a shared, harmonious approach as a society. So, but I want to also urge the leadership. The leadership, do not play politics with matters of the society. Matters of the society are rule of law issues. Do not introduce NASA politics or Jubilee politics in the rule of law issues.
Allow me to interrupt you there because I need to take our viewers back to Kisumu County, where the presiding officer, Yvonne Okeo, is about to address us about how voting has kicked off in that part of the country, how many lawyers possibly have passed through the doors, have there been any challenges? Yvonne, let's now hear what you have to say from Kisumu County.
My name is Yvonne Okeo, the presiding officer for Kisumu Law Courts. The process is going on well. We started at exactly 8:30. So far, we have about 51 voters. That was as at 10:30. We have not had major hitches, and as you can see, the process is smoothly proceeding on well.
So how many people have already voted?
We have about 51. As at 10:30, we had about 51 who have voted, and it's still in progress. We'll give you an update later.
Are there any other anomalies?
We have not received any hitches, any anomalies. It's going on smoothly. For Kisumu, we have 182 registered voters, but we allow voters from outside, actually because they can vote from any station. So we actually also allowing voters who are outside Kisumu Law Courts. Yes.